Wednesday, August 19th. Welcome back. It's been a while since we've done a garden update. There is a lot to share with you today with regards to how we've used some of our harvests, what's going on, and what we're planning for. August is usually the time when the summer garden is coming to a close for many people, especially those in cooler climates. And with regards to tomatoes, our year is in the books now for the most part. When it warms up, the breeze blows in the spider mites and they infest our mature tomato plants, and they're hard to fight. So what we end up doing is we remove the foliage. So if you notice that they're thinner than last time, that's because they've been infested, and I left the plants there to illustrate what they look like at this time of year. Here we have our Oaxacan green dent corn, and we have quite a few ears on them. I hope they are well pollinated and they'll develop into nice filled out ears. One thing that I need to work on is to better sow them in terms of sowing them a little bit deeper, because I have to stake a couple of them now because they're falling over. So we need to get the roots deeper. Another way is to make sure that we water in such a manner that promotes deep roots, like deep watering. Our cosmos are back. These are pretty flowers to have. They add interest to the garden with their light feathery foliage. And then down here, we have some more bok choy. This is the win-win choy. It's a hybrid variety, very prolific plant, and we've been relying on it as our greens. In the corner here, we have our tomatillos, and we've gotten a really good harvest, about a pound's worth, to make a green pozole, and that was very tasty. So we made some green pozole with garden ingredients that include the tomatillos, and then later we'll look at the hatch peppers, including the pumpkin that was growing on the slope that's back here that we harvested. Took the seeds out, hulled them, and roasted them, ground them up for our green pozole. This is our orange bell pepper. We have quite a few bell peppers here. If you notice the size of them, I should have thinned them out a little bit to disperse that so that we get larger bell peppers. This is the very interesting yellow-orange pepper. This is a pigment Jaune Cerise. I can't remember if I'm growing this for fun or if I'm growing it for it to be used in the kitchen, so I have to look it up to see to help myself remember. We also have quite a few pepper plants in here, and we'll look at it from the other side later on. And then up on the slope, we had that sugar pie pumpkin that we harvested and used the seeds in our green pozole. Down here is the ever popular shishito pepper, and it continues to grow. In the back, we've already removed the strawberry popcorn, and we're resting the soil there, and we're gonna plant some fall crops. These beds as well, the Roma tomatoes have been removed, and we came upon some oat hay that we're using as mulch to protect the soil. It keeps the bed moist, and also in this other bed, we removed the golden bantam corn, mulched it, and used it as a cover. By covering it, the soil remains moist. We're not watering it. Sometimes when you water, there's a little bit of salt in it, and you're actually increasing the salinity of the soil. So that helps mitigate some of that. We had a large, very productive zucchini plant that has been removed, not because it's not productive, but because we have some eggplants that we're planting in its place. And then we also have some cucumbers over here. Once they get, the zucchinis that is, get big, they're really productive. They produce more than we can eat. So that was removed for that reason. And we have this succession planted zucchini that is producing zucchini for us now. And one thing I like about succession planting is to clean up the space. So next to it is a more mature yellow squash, and you can see how big it is in comparison to the younger zucchini plant. So that's one reason for succession sowing. And then here are our peppers from this angle. We have this really giant Sriracha pepper. This is one that's spicy, so we're going to let this turn red, and we're going to make our own Sriracha sauce. This is a non-spicy version, It's a little bit lighter in green, so if we ever mix them up, we can tell which one is spicy and not by the color. And these are sweet poppers, and we got those. And then that's a spicy one. This is the Ristora Cayenne 2 that is nice and red now. We're going to harvest these and make a noodle condiment, so a condiment for noodles. This is the Basket of Fire. I think this is a really nice ornamental plant. It grows nice, low, and sprawl. And I'm pretty sure you can use it in the kitchen as well. And then our greenhouse. We've moved out the things that we placed in here and used the greenhouse as storage during our house renovation. So it's nice to have this greenhouse back once again. And we have more peppers. This is a flat of Kona Peppers. These are a popular Hawaiian variety. I was asked to look for them, and in doing so, I ended up planting seeds, and hopefully we'll get some Hawaiian peppers, and we're going to transplant them into this grow bag here. We have quite a few grow bags because I needed one grow bag to put into the ground and plant some raspberry in it. The grow bag in the ground will help the raspberry stay in place rather than grow wild. So then we end up with a few grow bags because they sell them by packs. Here is a King Tanger. It's otherwise known as Kamsa, which is a mandarin variety that's very popular in Vietnam. We grafted it onto a rootstock that we grew from seed, and it is pushing out a lot of growth. So I'm very excited about this one. We're removing some of the suckers off the rootstock. We have another one that's growing in another part of the garden, and we'll look at those. And then speaking of citrus, this is Flying Dragon. It is a rootstock that they use to dwarf citrus trees, and we're growing this one because it's got a really cool form. When it grows, it looks like a dragon. That's how they got the name Flying Dragon. As we come outside, we're gonna see our succession planting of Romas. So we got a succession mini harvest, it looks like. Elsewhere in the garden where we succession planted, that patch didn't do too well because we have spider mites over in that patch. Here is some more Oaxacan green dent corn in this roll around planter, and it gets a lot of sun in this spot. With it being warm, we roll it to create some shade for our house sometimes. And as we come over here, we're going to be looking at this citrus tree that has a couple of mandarin varieties grafted onto it. We got some suckers that we're gonna remove. This is another grafted King Tanger, and then that's a Dancy mandarin. And this is, if you caught the previous update, we kind of glossed over it, and the buds have not pushed out in that update, and it has since grown a bunch of foliage. This is a yellow Scotch Bonnet pepper, and we're going to use it in a curry goat dish. It's really good. Jamaican cuisine, curry goat that is. Here we have some yard long bean, and we've planted them in these containers that we had set up during the beginning of COVID when access to the supermarket was very difficult. And we're growing yard long beans in them right now, as well as spinach. So we've continued growing spinach since the beginning of COVID. In the summertime, they'll be quick to bolt, but it doesn't mean we can't still grow them. We'll just harvest them when they're a little bit younger. And here's a patch that we sowed from seeds that we saved from the first round. And then also we have some more in this round. And we also have some in front of it, some radishes that we're growing. So these are the tiny radishes. I had hoped to have them ready by the time we're making our green pozole, but we didn't get those in time. Here are some winter plants, or I should say cool season plants that we're starting. We have some cauliflower and some broccoli and some other cool season vegetables. August is when you're supposed to sow them in Southern California. It's very counterintuitive. I've been resisting that for many years, and I think it's largely why we don't get large crowns of cauliflower. So we're gonna follow convention. We're gonna be good about sowing them on time. So that's what we're doing. We have some more up here. These are more onions. So we're hoping that we can get onions to bulb up for us. And then this is our other Roma bed that is infested with spider mites. And you can tell when they have this gold sheen on them. What makes spider mites difficult to battle is that they will create a web shield and they'll go under, so it's really hard to spray them with soapy solutions or some other stuff. So we're gonna pull that patch out. Surprisingly, I was expecting it to do much better there, but I guess that's not the case. So we'll come back to our main garden, pass our tomatoes, and then we will head towards this area where we set up another couple of grow bags, so we have more growing space now. We got this French breakfast radish growing. It's gonna be warm. I hope we get radishes. This is a mustard that's done really well for us. This is a Florida broadleaf mustard. We already harvested once and it's grown back and we're gonna harvest it again. Our previous planting had already bolted and it's been a really delightful vegetable to have. It's got very delicate leaves, perfect for soups. We've been eating a lot of kale, and kale is pretty fibrous, so it's nice to get a little bit of a change. Up this way we have peppers, and we're going to be looking at some serranos, some hatch peppers, and some Scotch bonnet. So we'll start with the hatch peppers. We're already harvested some really nice ones. This is the New Mexico 64L. And we grew this one specifically for large hatch peppers. We got from one plant some nice ones to roast up and use in our Southwest inspired green pozole. And hatch peppers can be put in anything, burgers, hot dogs, chilies, you name it, you can throw it in. It'll make the dish taste so much better. So that's why we have so many plants. It's one of my favorite peppers, if not the favorite pepper of mine. And then down here we have an eggplant. It was chewed up by a caterpillar. I caught it and fed it to our quails, and now it's grown back some new leaves and they're hole free. And one of the things about this eggplant is that it's much larger than the other eggplants that we saw. And the reason for that is because we transplanted this into the container a lot sooner than the other ones. This is a fenugreek, and it is a vegetable used in Indian cooking. And we've been doing a lot of Indian curries during this time with the pandemic. Indian curries are really simple to make, very tasty. We just put it over rice and it becomes a really tasty, simple meal. Here we're looking at a Scotch bonnet. This is the red variety. We have some on there. And then we have a Serrano pepper. This plant is pretty prolific. We already harvested a bunch to give away to people. We have 2 plants. This is the second plant. It's gonna be hard to do, but at some point I'm going to have to remove one of them and plant something else in place, because sometimes abundance can be wasteful. And it'd be nice to get another pepper plant, as we're always growing new varieties of peppers. This is a San Luis Ancho pepper. It's another pepper. It's a Plubano pepper that we're growing for size. We're hoping to get a big one. And shortly after making this video, I looked at another part of the garden and I found a very, very large pepper hiding. And it was very exciting because it's been we've been trying to get a nice big one for a couple years now. So that was nice. And we have another one in the middle. So Poblano peppers and Anaheim peppers, a couple of pepper plants that we want to grow many plants of, because it's one of those things that we're going to use a lot of because it's not spicy. If you have peppers that are spicy, then one plant will suffice. And then over here, we'll head over to the side yard, otherwise known as a resort garden. And down here we have our Helen avocado that we've dropped some shade cloth on, and a portion of that was singed by the sun. And we finally caught that and have covered it. Another way to go about it is to put plants nearby to create shade for young plants that need protection from the sun. So rather than having to manually cover plants. The long-term goal is to plant some things around it. And then later on, when the avocado tree is large enough and it doesn't need protection from the sun, we can remove these plants. So trying to get plants to help us, help themselves is one of our goals. This is a Tulsi plant. The variety is Ambrite. And I didn't know that there are different varieties, so that's one to plant for fun. We know that there are general varieties like Rama and Vana and Krishna, but then they're getting into specific cultivars now, it looks like. Here is our row of the glass gem corn, and we harvested some of the glass gem corn, and we got some nice ears, very interesting colors. We got some blue steel, got some purple and blacks, and we're leaving the stalks here to create shade. And once again, using plants to create shade for us during the hot part of the year is a better way to go about it if we can, rather than come out and spend our time and effort creating shade. It's nice to spend that time doing something else, like enjoying the garden or tending to other parts of it. This is where we have some more plants that we're growing, including this Chacha Cabra. This is an Ahi Chacha Cabra. It didn't make any peppers during the first year, and I see some buds now, so it'll be interesting to see peppers. That one is one we're growing for fun. Got a turmeric down there. And then this is supposed to be a black futsu squash, but it's not looking knobby like a black futsu, so I'm not sure what's going on. I'm not sure if it's because the plant was planted from a pumpkin that was grown in a field versus from a seed packet, or if there was something with the way this plant grew. We have another black futsu plant nearby. It looks pretty good. I hope that we will get a squash from it, and we'll see whether it was the plant or it was the seed. And out this way we have more plants, and we'll come out and take a look at it today. We have in here some more peppers, including next to it are the cowpeas. So these are the purple hulled cowpeas, and if my memory is correct, I think more specifically they're the cornet purple hulled cowpeas, and we're hoping to make rice and peas with our curry goat. And let's take one and show you what it looks like on the inside. So it's your typical black eye pea, but instead of black pigmentation, you get more of a maroon color on it. And it's hard to see over there with that sun. Let's take it out over here where the lighting is better, and we can show you. So that's what it looks like. We have quite a few plants spread out throughout the garden, so we should get a really good harvest of them. And this being pepper year, we have more peppers. This one is the, let's see if I can pronounce it for you on the screen here. It's the Malawi Picante, M-A-L-A-W-I, Picante. And we're growing this one because it has a very interesting flavor profile according to the seed description. So we're waiting for it to ripen. And here is the raspberry plant that I was talking about earlier. We have it in the grow bag in the earth, and the hope is that the grow bag will keep the roots confined so that we don't have a mess of a jungle of a raspberry plant. And right next to it is another pepper plant. It's the Ahi Amarillo. And then out here we have yet more plants. This is a good growing space here where we grow a lot of the ornamental corn. And what we have out here now are the Japonica striped maize. And in here we have some beans. And this year we're growing a lot of beans. Pinto beans is back there. And then out in front are the Jacob's cattle bean. During the pandemic lockdown, I found myself eating a lot of baked beans and canned beans and dried beans. So I thought it'd be fun to grow our own. We have soybean. We get to get a really good harvest. Some fun gourds. Those are spinning top gourds that we have out here. And we have quite a few of them growing. And this is a closer look at that Japonica striped maize. And coming down this way, we have our growing bed that's been covered by that oat hay that we came across. And our watermelon plants, we harvested a couple watermelons. They weren't very big. It's not been a very good year for watermelon. They were about the size of a football, so maybe next year we'll get better watermelons. And as we come over this way, we're going to talk a little bit about the weather. So far, this has been one of the coolest summers. We've gotten regular daytime summer highs, but the lows have been much cooler. They've been in the 60s, low 60s as opposed to the high 60s. But now it's really warm, and the peppers like this Ancho pepper is liking it. We have some Togarashi Peppers here. We're hoping to get a good harvest because we want to combine this pepper with our yuzu citrus and make a yuzu kushu. And that's a condiment for sushi. It's a really good condiment. I can eat it by itself. And we're going to pick those away, and hopefully it will encourage the plant to make more peppers for us. Continuing on about the weather, I like to talk about it a lot because it affects how our plants are growing, and it gives us a good way to protect how they grow, and it dictates what we grow. So this couple weeks has been really hot. Lows have been in the 70s, and those are really warm temperatures for plants. So we're expecting to grow some more. We're preparing for fall. So this is a pretty good spot to conclude our summer garden update and tour. I thank you for watching. It's one of the longer ones, and if you watched this far, thank you so much. You are a true plant and garden fanatic, and hopefully there were some tidbits in this video that will help you with your gardening. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask, and I'll do my best to reply in a timely manner. Been pretty busy these days with helping my kid with distance learning and getting out here to do some gardening when things cool off. So until the next video, thank you always for visiting us and supporting our channel. I really appreciate it. I hope you're doing well, and we'll see you then. We have some collard greens there and some okra. This is a variety grown in Wabha, Pakistan, and the seeds were sent to us by a viewer. And I just found the Plubano pepper that I've been trying to grow. This is actually a couple-year-old plant. It was down there where I was weeding, hidden, and I found it. So very exciting. I wish I had found it when it was greener. We can use it in a chili relleno. Now that it's more dry and shriveled, we're gonna let it dry the rest of the way. And Poblano peppers are called Ancho chili when they're dried. So in their dried form, they're Ancho chili. In their green, fresh form, they're called Poblanos. This is the San Luis Ancho chili Poblano. Super exciting.